Hi, welcome to Comet Computer Private Limited e-learning program of Azure Public Cloud Training. Myself, Ilan Cherian, Technical Director at Comet Computer Private Limited. And this is our third video of Azure Public Cloud Training series. And in this video, we'll be discussing about Azure Global Infrastructure. So we need to understand in how many countries Azure has their data center and how many locations they have their footprints. So how they built their data center. So we need to understand all these things. And this picture shows the locations of the uh, Azure's data center. So here in this picture, we can see Azure's data center are available in nearly 58 regions. Actually, out of 58 regions, 53 regions are already established one, and five regions are developing one. And also they are spread across 140 countries. So it means that they have their primary data center in 58 location and the other edge locations in the rest of the countries. And this is how they are connected uh, each other. So all the regions of Azure data centers are connected each other. And this blue color dots are the available regions, and this dotted circles are the announced region, so not yet in live. And this rectangular dot, that is the square dot, is the edge site. And these lines are the WAN links which connects all the regions. So even you can notice every country is connected with two WAN links. It means that every country connected with redundant connectivity. And further, now we'll discuss or understand about the global infrastructure. So Azure Global Infrastructure includes regions, geographies, availability zones, Azure edge zones, Azure edge zones with carrier, Azure private edge zones. So now initially we'll understand about the region. So a region is a set of a data center deployed within a latency defined perimeter and connected through a dedicated regional low latency network. With more global regions than any other cloud service provider, Azure gives customers the flexibility to deploy application where they need to. Azure is generally available in 53 regions around the world, with plans announced for five additional regions. And coming to the geographies, geography is a discrete market, typically containing two or more regions that preserves data redundancy and compliance boundaries. Geographies allows customers with a specific data redundancy and compliance needs to keep their data and applications close. Geographies are fault tolerant to withstand complete region failure through their connection to or a dedicated high capacity networking infrastructure. And understanding about the availability zones. So availability zones are physically separated locations within a Azure region. And availability zone is a highly available offering that protects your applications and data from data center failures. And availability zones are unique physical locations within an Azure region. So each zone is made up of one or more data center equipped with independent power, cooling, and networking. So to ensure resiliency, there is a minimum of three separate zones in all enabled regions. And the physical separations of availability zones within a region protects applications and data from the data center failures. And zone redundant services replicate your applications and data across availability zones to protect from a single point of failure. While availability zones uh, are located in one particular region, multiple availability zones are located in one particular region. So with availability zones, Azure offers industry-best 99.99% virtual machine uptime SLA. And understanding about Azure Edge Zones. Azure Edge Zones are small footprint extensions of Azure placed in a population center that are far away from Azure region. Azure Edge Zones support VMs, containers, and selected set of Azure services that let you run latency sensitive and throughput intensive applications close to end users. Azure Edge zones are part of the Microsoft global network. They provide secure, reliable, and high bandwidth connectivity between the application that runs at the edge zone close to the user. And they offer the full set of Azure services running with Azure regions. So Azure Edge zones are owned and operated by Microsoft. So you can use the same set of Azure tools and the same portal to manage and deploy services into edge zones. Typically, use case include gaming and game streaming, media streaming and content delivery, real-time analytics and interferencing via artificial intelligence and machine learning, rendering for mixed reality. And these are some of the use cases, and lot more can be used. And coming to the Azure Edge Zones with Carrier. So Azure Edge Zones with Carrier are again a small footprint extensions of Azure that are placed in mobile operators data centers in population centers. Azure Edge Zone with Carrier infrastructure is placed one hop away from the mobile operators 5G network, and this placement offers latency of less than 10 milliseconds to applications from the mobile devices. And Azure Edge Zones with Carrier are deployed in mobile operators data center and connected to the Microsoft global network. So they provide secure, reliable, high bandwidth connectivity between application that run close to the user. And they offer a full set of Azure services running with Azure regions. Developer can use the same set of familiar tools to build and deploy services into the edge zones. And the typical use cases includes gaming and game streaming, media streaming, and content delivery, and real-time analytic and interferencing via artificial intelligence and machine learning, rendering of mixed reality, connected automobiles, telemedicine, edge zones with offered in partnership with following operators AT&T in Atlanta, Dallas, and Los Angeles. And Azure Private Edge Zones. Azure Private Edge Zones are a small footprint extension of Azure that are placed on premises. And Azure Private Edge Zone is based on the Azure Stack Edge platform. It enables low latency access to computing and storage services deployed in on premises. And private edge zone also lets you to deploy applications from ISVs and virtualized network functions as Azure managed application along with virtual machines and containers on premises. So these VNFs can include mobile packet cores, routers, firewall, and SD-WAN appliances. Azure Private Edge Zone comes with a cloud native orchestration solution that lets you to manage the lifecycle of VNFs and application from the Azure portal. Azure Private Edge Zone lets you to develop and deploy applications on premises by using the same familiar tools that used to build and deploy applications in Azure. And that's the end of the topic. And I hope you got a better understanding on the discussed topics. So in the next video, we'll be discussing about Azure account and subscription. Until then, bye bye. Thank you.